Imagine this. The infamous Duggar family compound, that sprawling beige Arkansas fortress known from 19 Kids and Counting, stands eerily quiet. No more children lining up in color-coded shirts. No more family meetings in the living room. The once bustling home of Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar sits still, waiting. But here's the million-dollar question. Who gets it? Who inherits the big house when the empire's original king and queen are gone? Is it a reward for the child who had the most children, a crown passed to the most obedient son, or perhaps the daughter who never strayed too far from the Duggar way? As Reddit sleuths debate and fans theorize, one thing is crystal clear. This isn't just a house, it's a legacy, a symbol of an entire worldview built on rules, obedience, and lots of babies. And now, that legacy may be up for grabs. Today on The Fame, we dig into the Reddit thread that exploded with wild theories, snarky predictions, and some surprisingly thoughtful insight. Could Jed and Katey take over? Will Josh be legally blocked? Or will no one even want it? Buckle up, we're heading into the belly of the Duggar beast. When Reddit user Valore posted the now viral question on Duggar Snark, who gets the big house when Jim Bob and Michelle die, they probably didn't expect the internet to explode, but explode it did. What followed was a goldmine of speculation, sarcasm, and serious thought about the fate of the Duggar family's most iconic structure. Fans, critics, and ex-Fundy observers all weighed in with their theories. And naturally, the results were hilarious, biting, and occasionally eerily plausible. The thread begins with a simple premise. Is it just an unspoken rule that the child who births the most Duggar grandkids wins the prize? Is that why so many Duggar kids are in a race to see who can fill up the most bunk beds? That theory quickly took off. Commenters pointed fingers at Joe and Kendra, Jed and Katey, and of course Jessa and Ben, each couple steadily climbing the kid count ladder. One user quipped, "Knowing Jed, his wife will be knocked up by Labor Day." Another snarked that Jessa is baking number 6, while Josh is still leading with 7. Even if he's not exactly in the running anymore. And that's where things got spicy. Josh Duggar's legal restrictions, thanks to his 2021 conviction, make it impossible for him to even visit the house, let alone inherit it. His parole terms ban him from unsupervised contact with minors, including his own children, for 20 years. That effectively cancels his ticket to the throne. As one user bluntly put it, he's not getting the house, he's not even getting near it. But if not Josh, then who? Some voted for Jed Duggar, citing his obedience to Jim Bob and eagerness to stay within the family fold. Multiple users described him as the biggest Jim Bob ass-kisser, and not in a flattering way. Jed and Katey's growing family, plus their rumored loyalty to Duggar doctrine, seemed to make them frontrunners, at least in theory. Jessa and Ben also made the shortlist for some, but there's a catch. Many fans doubt that Jim Bob would pass his kingdom to a daughter. A few snarked that it must be a son, pointing out the patriarchal norms embedded in the Duggar worldview. But then, someone raised a bigger question. Would anyone even want it? The answers were eye-opening and hilarious. Users shredded the idea that the house is some kind of prized jewel. It's located near a literal dump, has a strange layout, and smells like a landfill when the wind shifts. One commenter noted that it's really just a weirdly designed 3-bedroom house with too many bunk beds and outdated appliances, so maybe the house isn't the prize it used to be. Others jumped in to suggest alternate uses: a retreat center, a yoga studio, a shelter for LGBTQ+ kids escaping fundamentalist families, or even, sarcastically, a nudist colony or abortion clinic. Someone even imagined the house being bought by monks or hippies using it for peace-out sessions. And yet, amid all the jokes, a more grounded theory emerged. Several users suggested that the home is probably already in a trust, and that Jim Bob and Michelle have likely worked with lawyers to protect it from being torn apart by inheritance disputes. Maybe it's meant to be used for holiday gatherings, or as overflow housing for Duggar kids with too many kids of their own. Some speculated that a trustee would manage it, possibly someone like John David or even Jana, although others noted Jana might finally be free of that burden. Still, others painted a darker, more symbolic picture. A future where the house is abandoned, overgrown, or used as a cautionary tale for what happens when control and religion are pushed to their extremes. One commenter visualized the kids lighting a match and dancing around the ashes. But perhaps the most sobering take came from those who know the truth. This isn't just about real estate, it's about legacy, loyalty, and control. Jim Bob's legacy is steeped in traditionalism and image management. The house isn't just a home, it's a symbol of dominance, of patriarchal order, and of a brand that was once broadcast to millions. Giving it away, or selling it off, won't just be a property transaction. It will mark the end of an era. And while many Redditors speculated on which child would win, the underlying message was clear. Maybe no one really wins. Not when the prize is a decaying symbol of control, secrecy, and trauma. But one thing's for sure, when the day comes that Jim Bob and Michelle pass on, the fate of that infamous house will tell us more about the true state of the Duggar family than any press release ever could. So let's dig a little deeper into the real contenders. If this were a game of Duggar Survivor, House Edition, Jed Duggar might be sitting pretty. Why? Because he ticks every box, still in the good graces of Jim Bob, married young, already popping out kids, and willing to go along with just about anything that maintains his position. Redditors dubbed him Jim Bob's shadow, joking that if there were a crown to inherit, Jed would be polishing it every night. Then there's Joe and Kendra. Parents of many, quiet on social media, and generally not seen stirring any pots. They seem to live the closest to the Duggar ideal, but some fans speculate that their low profile may work against them, out of sight, out of inheritance. John David gets occasional mentions too, responsible, married, has kids, and, crucially, he has a job, a real one. As a pilot and emergency responder, he's seen as competent, maybe even trustworthy enough to be named a trustee if the house does go into some kind of legal trust. But would he want to run the Duggar Command Center? That's less clear. And then there's Jana, long the keeper of the home, the caretaker, the second mother, the project manager. Many fans feel she deserves the house more than anyone. She helped raise the kids, kept the household running, and was the one building shelves while her brothers played outside. But again, there's a caveat. It's unlikely Jim Bob would hand the house over to a woman, especially a single woman. Even though fans dream of Jana finally taking the title deed and painting the walls whatever color she wants, deep down they know it probably won't happen. In fact, one of the most heartbreaking through lines in the Reddit thread is the repeated understanding that deserve has nothing to do with it. It's about loyalty, image, and control, and that brings us to a darker possibility. What if the house just rots? Several commenters theorize that the home won't go to anyone, that it's too much of a liability. With high maintenance costs, a bad location, and appliances that are likely on their last legs, the house may not be worth the hassle. It could be repurposed for family gatherings, used as temporary housing for missionaries, or even sit empty, decaying slowly while the family continues to fracture. Some fans joked about adding more houses to the property so the adult children could rotate in and out like some kind of fundamentalist Airbnb. Others imagined bunkhouses with shift schedules for who gets to watch the endless stream of grandchildren. It's funny, until you remember that's basically how it worked when they were all kids. Then there's the legal angle. A few insightful Redditors, including one with what seemed like actual legal background, suggested that the property may already be in a family trust. If that's the case, then the entire debate might be moot. The house could be held in perpetuity for family use or controlled by a designated trustee, taking the drama out of the inheritance, at least on paper. But let's be honest, when has anything Duggar-related ever stayed drama-free? This family has a track record of secrecy, scandal, and calculated image management. The idea that Jim Bob has quietly and fairly designated the fate of the family home is almost laughable. If anything, fans suspect the decision will come with strings, expectations, requirements, and perhaps even religious conditions for whoever dares to claim the throne. And maybe, just maybe, no one will. Maybe the house sits empty, maybe the kids scatter, maybe the compound, once filled with the sounds of 19 children and counting, becomes a quiet reminder that the world moved on, even if Jim Bob didn't. But the Reddit thread doesn't end in despair. No, it ends in imagination. Fans dreamed of what the house could become if liberated from its past, a shelter for women fleeing controlling marriages, a safe haven for LGBTQ+ teens rejected by fundamentalist families, a community resource, a place of healing rather than control. It's unlikely, sure, but for a moment people dared to hope that something good could come from the legacy of that beige brick monolith, and that might be the most powerful takeaway of all. The house might belong to Jim Bob and Michelle for now, but the story of what it becomes next, that's still being written. So, who inherits the Duggar big house? Is it Jed, Joe, or no one at all? Could Jana finally get her freedom in square footage? Or will the place crumble under the weight of its own legacy? Reddit has spoken, and the verdict is hilariously unclear, but deeply telling. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into one of the internet's most unhinged real estate debates. If you loved this video, hit that like button, subscribe to The Fame for more scandalous family sagas, and ring the bell so you don't miss what happens when this house finally changes hands. Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and stay snarky.